Welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Kay Cote, and I am your podcast host here at Action Coach in Central Texas. Today, we have on the show Brittany B. Moore, CEO and Chief Organizer of Be More Organized. Today, we're going to talk about her business, her journey to business ownership, challenges, and best practices that she's learned along the way, and share what it's really like to build and operate a business. If this is your first time on our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when we drop conversations just like this one. Brittany, thank you and welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. I'd love to get a brief overview and background and tell us a little bit about your business and yourself.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for having me today. Gosh, be more organized. Yes. So obviously the name is a play on my name, Brittany Moore. I played a lot of sports in college, and I think a lot of guys tend to call each other by their last names, like, hey, Smith, hey, Johnson. And so being a product of the 80s, like every other girl in my class or sports team was Brittany. And so obviously that gets old really fast. And so teachers were always looking for an additional option for Brittany's. And I was like, okay, I can just go by Be More. And so from a pretty early age, I just started to go by Be More. And eventually when I started the company in 2011, it was a pretty easy, like, be more organized, be more efficient, be more. Remember, I sent out an email with a couple of name options to friends and family, and it was just unanimous, be more organized. And so it's really fun. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on it over the years from clients. But essentially, the business was started in 2011, really out of a desire to just help friends and coworkers at the time literally just be more organized and be more efficient in their homes and in their spaces. Some of my first clients were just friends who were having their in-laws come in town and were like freaking out about, like, oh no, my in-laws are so critical, like what am I going to do? And I was like, oh, I'll
Mhm.
come over for free and like organize your entire house, which nowadays is like a $10,000 plus, like thing. And back then I was like doing it for free, just helping friends. And that's really the heart and soul of, I would say, Be More Organized. It's even still today, the quality of employees and team members that we hire. We have a thorough hiring process where we talk to our team about different attributes and values, and we do quarterly reviews on those attributes to ensure that our team members are always growing. But we really want to stay true to hiring people and keeping a company culture of, we are here to serve, we are here to help, we're here to come alongside you, and that this service is for everyone. I think in somewhat an unfortunate way, when home organizing launched, really got popular, I would say in the last 10, 15 years, it was really put into this almost like luxury market where it's like it's only something that luxury can afford. And what we're really trying to say is, no, it's something that everyone can afford. It's something that everyone needs, whether it's your garage, your attic, your closet, your kitchen, your pantry. We all need help staying more organized. And for me, we're really Christian forward company. And I was in church a couple of years ago, and a pastor was talking about this element of pain to purpose. And it just really hit me like a light bulb of, that is why I'm here doing what I do. Is I had a really challenging childhood. I was adopted at 16. I was taken away by CPS, like you kind of
Mm.
name it, and I went through it as a kid. And so coming from this very chaotic and challenging environment as a child, I really took that pain and found passion in wanting to ensure other people aren't living in those types of environments, and really turned that into the purpose of Be More Organized, where we're here to ensure that people have organized, efficient, beautiful, calming spaces, whether, again, it's your garage, your entire home, your office, whatever it is. And so that's really the heart behind Be More Organized, is being here to transform those spaces, being here to give friends, family, neighbors back that calm so that they can really enjoy that rest in our homes. I think far too often we walk into our home and it's just another to-do list. I need to frame that. I need to change that light bulb. I need to touch up, paint that wall. I've been meaning to order new throw pillows for the sofa or whatever it is. It's just this long to-do list. And we have so few places that we can really rest. And so that's really what we're here to do, is to tackle your entire to-do list for your home.
Oh my goodness, Brittany, your story is so inspiring and just like I love the deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it just like really shows how your heart and soul are into the business and it's how you're setting yourself apart for sure. That is really incredible. And I love that you're using that opportunity to change lives through that purpose. Like
Yeah.
generally speaking, what is your current, like you're the founder, what does your current ownership structure look like today? Are you doing most of the cleaning today or you said you're hiring people? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, in Austin alone, we have about 13 team members. And in the last year, I've put a lot of money into the business, prepping it for scale. So we
Mhm.
have software solutions, processes, automation, integrations, a lot of custom built software behind the scenes that is hopefully very soon, God willing, the right time, going to allow us to really start scaling up in a bigger way. And the first city that we want to scale into next is Dallas, which is on the near horizon. And then I would say our 3-year plan is scaling into Houston and San Antonio as well. So our bread and butter services are home organization and then moving concierge. And so within home organization, like I said, we organize attics, we build out custom pantries, we build out beautiful, $20,000 custom closet solutions. We just actually built a $40,000 custom closet in Fredericksburg for an amazing client. I mean, we really do everything. Our typical process is a lot of times we always want to start with decluttering first. That's the most important thing, is to really help people understand. A lot of times people are, when they're disorganized, there's a lot of inventory that's hiding, that they haven't
Mhm.
seen, that they've forgotten that they have. And so we have a very thorough system and process that we run through every single day with every single client, which allows us to be a lot more efficient because we're doing the exact same process, but tweaking it in certain ways for different clients. And so we run through a full categorization right away in the morning, where then we declutter everything with the client, which gets the eyes of the client on every single one of their items so that they can make educated decisions on what makes sense for them to keep or leave. And then our team spends the rest of the day organizing all of those items, creating a system for the client, getting everything labeled. And then one of our differentiators is really that we want to be, and we try our best to be, your interior designers behind the scenes. We always look at the client's aesthetic of their home. We work with a lot of really high-end designers as well. And so a lot of times we'll partner with the designer to choose bins or source products that really meet the standard of the home, so that when you open up a cabinet or pull out a drawer, it's not just like cheap plastic organizers. It's something that feels a lot more built in and a lot more elevated for the home. And so I would say that's that was our foundational service that we launched with back in 2011. But about 4 years ago, we launched our second bread and butter service, which is moving concierge. We really saw a need for this in the market, where I think it's kind of sounds kind of weird, but for me, it's all about like pain. Like I
Mhm.
love finding people's pain and then solving it, fixing it. Like, great, you don't have to feel that way. Let's transition. And so for me, it was when I heard the statistic that moving is in the top 3 most stressful things that you can go through in life, next to death and divorce. And I've moved about 17 times in the last 18 years. And so I think there's no Like that's absolutely part of God's plan for my life. Like I've done this so much that I've created systems behind the scenes almost unknowingly that I was able to inject into the business and create a process for moving concierge that really does allow us to do this much more efficiently, and just remove that stress for clients. I mean, a lot of times our clients will go on a 1 week vacation. We say, hey, get out of here. Like we go through the entire house with the client and declutter in typically 2 to 4 appointments, depending on what the client needs. And then they don't need to be a part of it at all. We say, go make this the best week ever, go on vacation, and literally let us do this for you, because we've learned enough about their lifestyle, what they use, why they use it, when they use it, that we can create systems in the new home that meet their needs and make obviously small tweaks as needed when they return. And
Mhm.
so we do all decluttering, all packing. We book every single vendor. So we do full project management, which is where I spent about 10 years of my work experience prior to this, was in project management consulting. So I am a software heavy girl, and I'm all about process, and it's not a process unless it can be repeated. And so I'm all about automation within processes too, testing new processes, creating that automation, creating those workflows so that we can really build something scalable and help even more people than we're helping now.
Wow, that is incredible. And I'd love to hear, what are some of those processes? Like, do you have a CRM that you use? Like, give us kind of the back end of like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, no, we have about 35 different softwares. I mean, we are very software heavy. Our software stack is big and expensive. Our CRM alone is $20,000 a year. Like it's heavy. So it hurts. But no, we've really taken a lot of time to work with various consultants and engineers across the board to build these custom integrations, in some cases that don't exist between various softwares that we use. Honestly, in the last year, I feel like I could be a software consultant at this point. I mean, as I've made decisions on CRM to HR payroll solutions to scheduling solutions to, Microsoft ecosystem versus this versus that, the amount of research that has had to go into each decision, the amount of competitors to one software that I've had to interview and do demos with and deep dive on and talk to engineers and understand how their backend would work and what it can sync to and what's going to be our main software solution hub that everything then is going to tie into. I mean, it is exhausting for sure. But yeah, I'm actually going to be coming out with a lot. It's my dream is to really take everything that I've learned, especially specifically within this industry, and create some training and some courses for other professionals in the industry, other home organizers and other interior designers, because our industries align in a lot of way from business practices. And I just think there really aren't solutions out there that are native, where native integrations exist. You almost have to custom build everything, which is really sad. Most industries have a software for their industry, and
Mhm.
we do not. There's Honeybook and there's some things like that that are good CRMs for like a standard service industry, but not one that takes on the nuances of interior design or organization, especially when it comes to like proposals and invoices, and just communication with the clients, especially at the level that we're at. I mean, we have a lot of
Mhm.
celebrity clients and really high-end clients, and their expectation of service is high, and that's what we aim to meet. I'm always telling people we are like Four Seasons meets restoration hardware. We aim to have the service of the Four Seasons, and that look and feel of elegance and calm and relaxation of restoration hardware. A lot of people feel, a lot of people have heard of the Home Edit. And while we love them and they've created some wonderful solutions that we love to use, we in respectively, we are completely the opposite of them. We do not believe that organization should like jump out at you and be bright, colorful, and like the spotlight. We clients have to like literally twist our arm to get us to use color in their home. We could not be more the opposite. We want organization to beautifully, elegantly, calmly blend into the background where you don't see it. And it's there in this beautiful way when you need it. We only use neutral, natural, very like texture products. It's very much restoration hardware, right? When you walk into restoration, there's no color. Nothing. They use wood on silk, on linen, on metal. You know, it's just textures, layering textures, and it creates this really cozy, beautiful environment. And so I'm really all about, I call it color therapy. I don't actually know if that's a thing, but it's what I call it. That like we know in marketing and advertising from like marketing 101 in college, right? That the reason McDonald's is yellow and red, or the reason that this company chose green, color evokes emotion. And to be honest, we live in such fight or flight mode when we're outside of our home all day, meetings and back-to-back this and phone calls and text message and Instagram, and just overwhelmingly inundated with information and color and brands and marketing, that when you walk into your home, that shouldn't exist anymore. I don't want to walk into my home, honestly, and see a lot of color and a lot of busyness. Now, it's one thing if it's like the design aesthetic of the home, but certainly not when I open up cabinets and drawers. Do I want brands and color just jumping out at me? It's overstimulating. And I'm really big on that because I partnered with an occupational therapist group years ago. And so I would come in and consult with them on all of their clients' homes, playrooms, and bedrooms. And so I would reorganize and even help redesign the homes. And I learned so much working with them because we were specifically working with kids who have like 50 seizures a day. Like these kids are, it is so important that these children have extremely low stimuli environments. And so working with these therapists who are doing all this research in that area, understanding that, I learned how overstimulatingly, almost unknowingly, we create our homes, our playrooms, our kids' rooms, our kids' classrooms, heaven goodness sake. I mean, it's just so overstimulating. And that's also why we're so exhausted, because our brains are taking all of that in and cycling through all of that. And so, not to get off on a huge tangent, but we really believe in neutral, calming, relaxing spaces. If you want to walk into your home and feel at peace and calm and relaxed, which all sound like very hippy dippy words. I wish there was a word that didn't mean like peace, like, but calm, like it has to be more neutral. There has to be less stuff. You have to figure out what's important to you. You know, maybe you have one room that's super colorful and fun, and that's your like creative space. But if you need more calm in your life, less stuff and less color is what you need.
Oh, definitely. I understand the overwhelm of the bombarded like just in our today's culture. So I love that your service is, giving people that oasis, that sanctuary to come home to, that place. I'd love to dive in quickly about talk about your marketing because it's your brand is very powerful. You're doing things that are, against the grain. You're going and you're doing all this research and learning so much. How do you share that with your audience and get your message out?
You know, it's really hard. If there's one thing I've learned, there are two really fast-moving trains in building a business. One is operations, process, solutions, software, training manuals, all of that right here, this train. And this train over here is marketing and advertising. And
Yes.
it is really hard to go full speed with both. And you're going to have an issue if one almost gets ahead of each other. And so I think depending on your business model, you have to choose which challenge you want to take on. And so because for me, our business is so project management and has so many logistics because we don't just do home organization. We tackle the client's entire to-do list. We're bringing in power washers and contractors and customizing drawers and bringing in designers and bringing in painters. And we have so many more moving pieces than a lot of just like home organizing companies because we don't just organize their pantry, we're redesigning it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's our goal isn't home organization. Our goal is their entire to-do list, and organization is one of the reasons, one of the ways that we get them there. And so for me, I had to make a decision. If I marketed the heck out of the business and we had all these clients coming in over here, this train wasn't going to have the solutions, the processes, the software, the workflows, the automation to do that seamlessly. It would have created a huge backstock of clients that we wouldn't have been able to meet with wonderful service, that we would have been dropping the ball on tasks here and there without the right project management solutions set up to manage all that we manage. And so I chose to invest instead of first and let this train, this marketing train go. I've invested heavily in the operations side and in this train in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're fully set up. We're ready to scale. I mean, we're still growing. We're still learning. We're still tweaking processes. I don't think that's something that ever stops, but we have a strong foundation over here. And so to be honest, really just in the last, I would say 3 to 4 months is when we've been like really starting to full speed feed our marketing and advertising train. And we're making a lot of changes. I really try to stay focused on the economy, on best practices, on trends. I watch Europe really heavily. I watch design trends heavily. Looking at the economy, looking at the real estate market, our industry is very closely tied to both interior design and real estate. If you look at the trends in real estate, when real estate's down, we're going to be down. And we have been pretty, I would say, down the last year. We've been going through a recession, you know, whether the news is marketing it that way or not, like we've definitely been going through a bit of a downturn. And so they say the best companies are built in those, you know, I always forget, is it bull or bear market? I always get them mixed up. It's a bear
Oh,
market.
I think so. Is that like more
Challenging one.
hibernating, more like, or more
I think
like,
it's a bear market when it's like
uh,
things are like really challenging and hard and we're in a recession. I
oh,
think that's called a bear market. It's either bear or bull. I don't know. I always get
yeah,
them mixed up. But
me
when
too.
you're in that, when you're in that like challenging market, like, you know, a lot of statistics and a lot of analysis over the years have shown companies that come through those markets are the strongest companies. And so I've really just tried to maintain that outlook and see like, okay, well, if those companies are the strongest companies, those companies have to be pivoting. Those companies are
Yeah.
learning. Those companies are changing their tactics. They're diversifying. They're doing more. Like they're being more efficient. You have to be better than your competition to get through that kind of a market. And so we've been really blessed with some wonderful connections in Austin. The last couple of months, I've been meeting with a lot of really big advertising and marketing companies who have been kind enough to kind of just give us a full pitch, even though there's no way we could ever afford them. I mean, these are like the companies that market some of the biggest national like brands. But they were really kind of like, they're like, I love your story, Brittany. I love what you're doing. I love what you're building. We would love to help you. Can we give you some like free advice? And I'm like, I love free advice.
Yes.
So we've gotten some really awesome free advice in the last few months. And so one of the things that we've really figured out is a lot of our competitors or a lot of other organizers in our industry really kind of niche themselves over here, right? If we're talking about like a little scale or something, it's like over here is we sell luxury and we sell pretty. And I think that's really what a lot of the market thinks about when they think of home organizing. whether there's someone who thinks of being a client of ours or not. They're like, well, I don't know if I need you to make my house pretty. And I'm not a luxury high-end client. So I don't think I fit home organizing. Like that's not something
Mhm.
I need in my life. And which is when we've run into that a few times with not clients of ours, but like friends or friends of friends who have been like, oh, that's so cool. It looks amazing what you guys do. I would never pay for that. And we're like,
Yeah.
what's
Mhm.
the disconnect here? Because there's no doubt every single person on the planet needs help organizing, unless you're a home
Mhm.
organizer, right? Um, Creating systems, creating more efficiency, and creating more calming systems in your home means the statistics show that does wonders for your mental health, especially in this type of culture
Mhm.
where we are overbuying stuff to make us happier. It's literally like a toxic cycle. We're unhappy with our mental health, which we know the statistics for that are off the charts as a culture. We are
Yes.
not doing good on mental health. So
Mhm.
we go out and we buy stuff to make us feel happy, and we keep buying stuff. And then that stuff becomes clutter and
Mhm.
stresses us out more. And then we go buy more stuff. And it just becomes this toxic cycle that
Mhm.
people, to be honest, I don't think are even fully self-aware of. Like they
Mhm.
know their homes or their closet or some space just feels like anxious. And maybe
Yep.
they avoid it. And it's just this massive pile behind the scenes, but they keep going out and they keep buying more stuff. And so back to my point, we are pivoting from luxury and pretty. We took luxury out of our vocabulary years ago because again, as a Christian company, we are here to serve everybody.
Mhm.
We have clients on this end of the spectrum and clients on this end of the spectrum, and we do everything we can to help these clients the same way these clients who can just walk in and pay the deposit and have no issue. Like we want to help everybody. Everyone deserves to have a calming home.
Mhm.
And so, based on a lot of this research that these other marketing companies have been so gracious to give us, is we are going to really be pivoting into the mental health and wellness space.
Ooh, I
And so,
love
we're
that.
not necessarily going to be using those words,
Mhm.
but that is the space we're going to start residing in so that everyone understands that this is so much deeper than just like interior design.
Yeah.
Yes, we do that. Yes, we sell luxury and yes, we sell pretty, but we also do this. We also
Mhm.
do all of it. And so I'm really excited. We're going through a full rebrand right now, full new website, everything. Got some great videographers lined up. It's a really hard culture right now. I feel
Mhm.
really bad for a lot of businesses because you can do something really well. You can be amazing at your skill set, but if you're not really good at making reels or staying up to date with like social media and algorithms, then no one's going to know. And that I
Yeah.
just it kills me. It kills me because you know what? I don't actually like social media. I think it's like the worst thing. I think if another country is going to take out a power grid, I'm like, take out Instagram first. Like, we would all be just so much better as a
Yeah, I kind of agree
society
with you there, actually.
without it. Yeah. So it's like, it's so hard. So for me, if I'm going to show up on this platform, if I'm going to distract people from their life, I've got to be putting out valuable information. So I'm
Mhm.
really not willing as a brand to be involved with a platform that I honestly hate unless I'm putting out content and putting out information and educational information that is valuable in some way and going to help others be better. And so that's really what we're dedicated to doing in this like new era as we launch into some of these new marketing efforts and pivot into some of these new zones, if you will, that we really want to figure out how can we help people in their mental health, in their wellness? How can we
Mhm.
bring that to organization? How can we bring that to moving? How can we help people rethink what home can feel like? Because we know that 50% of marriages end in divorce. We know that the 30% of those 50% of people who stay married are unhappily married. We
Mhm.
know the statistics around child abuse. We know the statistics around human trafficking. We know drug abuse statistics. We know all of these statistics about mental health, about ADD, about anxiety. And so when you take all those statistics, a lot of that starts at home. It starts at
Oh,
home. You
yes.
having a calming, relaxing space to gather as a family, to work on your business, to do your homework. I mean, some of my most favorite testimonies that, we'd never even share on social media or anything, but we just get text messages from
Mm.
clients, are them sharing with us that my husband actually comes home after work now, and is
Oh,
excited to be
wow.
home. It's a peaceful place to be, that we can play games as a family and there's not just stuff everywhere. Or
Yeah.
my kids are doing better in school because they're not losing their homework, or they're not so overwhelmed by their bedroom, and they
Mhm.
have a desk or a space that they can just sit and do what they need to do. Or women who own businesses or are moms that can be like, I get dressed faster, I make breakfast faster, and walking through my garage doesn't feel like a mess, because those spaces, when you wake up in the morning and you go into your kitchen, you go into your master closet to get dressed, you walk through your garage to get into your car, those three spaces hold like at least 100,000 items. Like, that's a
Wow,
lot for your
yeah.
brain to think about. They say
Mhm.
that we make like 300,000 decisions by noon every day. You
Mhm.
think you're just walking into your pantry looking for the Cheerios, which are a horrible way to start your day, by the way. But really, your
True.
brain is cataloging every single thing that it sees in your pantry. Same thing with your closet. You're one of those girls that has a million shoes. Your brain is exhausted making that
Mhm.
decision. And that's where some of the top CEOs in the world wear the exact same blue shirt every single Wednesday, the
Mhm.
exact same gray shirt every Thursday. Reduce the amount of decisions that you have to make so that you can focus your energy on the things that really matter. And that's where we're so on just autopilot as we go through our day, as we go through our home. And
Mhm.
so we want to be the people that are almost like coming in and like shaking people and like be like, okay, we're going to hold you accountable. Like, let's get rid of some stuff. Like, do you really like this? Do you ever wear this? Like, why do we have this? Let's get rid of it.
Mhm.
It's just taking up space. And so sometimes it's like we want to be the change agent that comes into your home and shows you that there's a new way to live, a different way to move, a different way to organize or exist in your home.
That is incredible. Like, I love that we've covered so much beautiful ground, learning about your business, learning about what you're doing to make a difference in people's lives through the services that you're providing. This has been such a fun interview. And before we wrap up, I'd love to go through these are rapid fire questions, and these are just
Okay.
think of top of mind, first thing that comes to your mind. We've got a few of those, and then we'll get into our final question before we wrap up for the day.
Sounds
And
good.
your first rapid question for today is, what is the key to success for you?
Key to success. The key to success for me is redefining the word failure. As a business owner, as a leader, you will quote unquote fail every single day if you're doing it right. If you're not
Mhm.
failing every day, you're doing something wrong. You're not taking risks. You're not innovating. You're not paving a new path.
Mhm.
You should be failing and almost crying every day.
Yes.
You're doing it right. I wish I would have had a mentor who would have told me, are you crying at least once a week? Are you on the floor like praying to God why once a week? You're doing it right.
Mm.
Is
Mhm.
failure, you have to redefine it. Failure doesn't exist. It's just a learning experience and an opportunity to pivot. And if you're not read it both, if you're not failing and if you're not redefining it as an opportunity to pivot, and you're not pivoting and you're not learning and you're not growing and you're not continuing to get up and just move, then you're doing it wrong. And I think that's where a lot of businesses fail because they think it's failure because you launched something and it didn't work. Launch it again, launch it differently,
Yep.
change one feature on it, constantly innovate, constantly push the needle, and just keep going. And
That's
it
powerful.
hurts. Entrepreneurship is not something I would wish on my worst enemy most days. It hurts.
I feel that.
Not kidding.
Uh, what is one
Not
one
kidding.
book, one book or piece of content or anything podcast, it can be anything. What is one thing that you've recently taken in?
Oh gosh, it's a really good question. I read a lot. I think so. I'm working on I'm working on a second company right now, and I'm at a trade show right now, and I will say I'm heavily learning a lot the last couple of days. Everything boils back to the story, to marketing. It's almost sad, honestly, I want to say in some ways. It doesn't almost matter sometimes what you're selling. The
Hmm.
story and how you sell it and how you market it is everything.
Yes,
It's
that's
everything.
true.
I'm at a trade show right now where there is like 100 people selling the exact same thing. And I'm telling you, the only difference in who I'm remembering is the story that they're telling me, is how they set up their booth differently, how they
Hmm.
sold me differently. It all comes back to story. And so I would say if there's one book you start with Story Brand.
Ooh, that's powerful. I'm gonna put that on my list for sure. Final question, rapid fire, is if you had to choose only one area of your business that you could immediately change tomorrow, what would it be?
Branding. Yep.
Uh, branding is
And that's why we're
everything.
doing that.
Well, Brittany, this has been an incredible conversation. Absolutely feel excited and fired up by the conversation we had. And I'd love to ask you one final question before we wrap up for today.
Please.
What is the most inspiring to you today?
The most inspiring to me today. Let's see. I have a very specific answer to that, but I'm going to broaden it a little bit. Um, I think the most inspiring thing to me today, as I look around at my personal landscape, what is ahead of me today, what is ahead of me in the coming weeks, and where I feel like the opportunities that God has literally like clearly placed in front of me is time goes by really fast, and sometimes opportunities don't come back around.
Mhm.
And don't always be so concerned at how you're going to make it happen. Just take the step forward, make the plan, and then work the plan. And so I
Mhm.
think what's most inspiring to me is the opportunities that are all around me and how I choose to look at them and what I choose to take advantage of.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to be held back by, I don't know how it's all going to pan out. I don't know how I'm going to launch this new company yet. I don't know how I'm going to raise all the funds that I need yet, but I know I'm going to make it happen.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so there really, I know it sounds kitschy. I know it sounds a little bit like hippy dippy, but y'all, if there's another book I'd recommend people to read or an element I would recommend people to research is neuropathways, is the
Mm.
brain. The element of manifesting. You see a lot on this. There's a lot of really interesting people talking about this on Instagram right now, but it is so important to believe that you can do it, to tell yourself every day, I am going to do this. If
Mhm.
you do that and you believe it, you can literally accomplish anything.
Yes.
You literally are the only person who holds yourself back from accomplishing something. Don't doubt yourself and don't let fear stand in your way. Because I am a single mom. I am an entrepreneur. I own 3 companies. I have no family in Texas. I couldn't be more alone. Entrepreneurship is so lonely in its
Mhm.
own. And I can't tell you the struggle I face every single day. And I just have to keep going.
Yeah.
And there's no entrepreneur on the planet that won't tell you it's not hard. If they don't, they're lying. Don't ever listen to it if they say again. They're just liars. It
True.
is really hard. So what's inspiring most to me today is that I just keep moving forward. It's
Mm.
going to be hard. It's never going to stop being hard. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Tell yourself you can do it and just keep taking another step forward.
Wow, Brittany, this has been so great. I love getting to know you in this conversation. Thank you so, so much for that beautiful answer. And it speaks so much truth. I just want to say thank you so much for being on the podcast today. It's been a true joy to have you.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.